All the examples we've seen, him suing Showtime for $300 million, him foreclosing on multiple properties, him losing on investments on multiple properties, him buying a lot of depreciating assets, and him all of a sudden looking to box very much in the year 2026. Floyd losing money Mayweather, as the chatter says, is in dire straits financially.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things
right.
The audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't like him.
Some people will say, you know, he's suing now because of his gambling habits, which was not hidden. It was not a secret. He would post, you know, not Teddy Atlas talking about anything that wasn't out there. He would post some of his tickets, his betting tickets that he bet, and, you know, and they were large bets. And so some people will say, oh yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, he blew his money, whatever.
Floyd Mayweather's image is starting to shift as new issues begin to surface around him. What once looked like complete dominance outside the ring is now being questioned, with tension building across the boxing world. On top of that, his recent comments could spark a legal clash with Manny Pacquiao, adding even more pressure to an already complicated situation.
Breach of this contract. So he has to provide a notice that he's willing to cure. His team has to provide that. And if they don't, then it's next steps. So we're not at a liberty to disclose every single thing that's going on or the nitty-gritty of the contracts or the details. But I mean, you're not dealing with a mom and pop operation here, right? I mean, look at who's behind the event. So obviously you can be sure that these contracts are buttoned up.
Floyd Mayweather faces increasing scrutiny over his finances, with reports of tied-up assets and unpaid obligations. His remarks calling the Pacquiao fight an exhibition despite a professional contract further raised the risk of legal trouble.
It's an exhibition and not a real fight?
Is that what he's feeling? But he signed a real fight.
So it's for sure?
Yes, the contract that we signed is a real fight.
Real fight, okay. Yeah, because I know he said...
I want to fight an exhibition.
No exhibition. It's either real fight or nothing.
Yeah, it's a real fight, yeah.
The Sphere still in Las Vegas?
That's the contract that he signed. I mean.
Okay, so it's still happening then?
He has to remember that.
Chris Algieri reacts to the situation, explaining what is actually happening with Floyd Mayweather and the legal troubles he might face.
As Mathur, the CEO of Manny Pacquiao Promotions, said that yes, the fight is contracted for the Sphere, booked at the Sphere, scheduled at the Sphere for September 19th. It is booked as a professional fight, not as an exhibition. It was never booked as an exhibition, which makes sense because Netflix got behind it, and I would assume that they would not want an exhibition. We said the other day, I think it was actually yesterday, we said that this fight has to be a real fight and not an exhibition because, one, Netflix is involved, two, Manny Pacquiao wants that get back, and two, also just betting lines. It's a huge aspect of this sport, and this kind of fight is going to generate a ton of money. So yeah, there's a disagreement in terms of whether this is a real fight or an exhibition, but really that's really falling on the side of Mayweather, since apparently he already signed the contracts, the deal was already done, he took some advances apparently on the actual agreed upon terms of the contract. And now there's a little bit of confusion.
Manny Pacquiao slammed Floyd Mayweather for dodging a genuine rematch. He insisted he signed for a real fight. I signed for a real fight. He got his advance. There's no...
That's purpose of exhibition that was long time ago, year after our first fight, but I didn't agree. And then I want a real fight, so he signed what I signed. He signed a real fight, and I signed a real fight, and he got his advance. So there's no reason to make excuses of that. So that's true.
Well, we all look forward to that fight.
I mean, he signed a real fight, and he got his advance. So then now makes excuses, no.
Wade Plemons questions Floyd Mayweather's intentions, arguing that calling the fight an exhibition after taking professional payments raises serious red flags. He believes it looks like an attempt to mislead both Netflix and Manny's team and points to past behavior, claiming Mayweather has used similar tactics before to cash in on major events. But something is off.
Something is off. Something's completely off because you got one person saying, this is a real fight. You got the promotion saying, this is a real fight. You got Floyd Mayweather saying, no, this is an exhibition. There's two things that are happening here. Either somebody messed up in paperwork or in communication or in some form of getting this fight together, misspoke to one of these guys, or Floyd Mayweather is trying to scam Netflix. That is the only two things that can be possible here. Because we then get the report, as of yesterday, that Floyd Mayweather has already taken a cash advance payment of his purse for the upcoming Manny Pacquiao rematch on Netflix, despite it currently being in jeopardy. I don't even know how that's possible. Who gave him a cash advance before they even got to the fight? I understand like paying some up front to secure the fight, but paying everything? Maybe it's not what it is. Maybe the cash advance is like...
Wade Plemons reports that Floyd Mayweather has already pocketed a cash advance for his upcoming rematch with Manny Pacquiao on Netflix, even though the fight status remains uncertain. While upfront payments aren't unusual, receiving the full purse so early is highly irregular. Plemons notes Floyd's history of leveraging advances and manipulating fight promotions to protect his 50-0 record while still earning big, citing past exhibitions against Deji and Logan Paul. Now, with Pacquiao's team pointing to multiple contracts, prior payments, and another advance, Floyd's pattern of financial maneuvering could land him in legal trouble. And this is via ESPN.
Talk about it, 18 mil retired. I know some people gonna be like, well, you said, I didn't want to say I was active, because that's normal. I said I wasn't activated. I knew what I said, so a lot of times I'm like, oh, you didn't say it right. I know I said it right, I knew what I said. I knew what I posted.
I don't really care how much you make, bro. I feel like writing an $18 million check has to feel some sort of way, though.
That's crazy. I didn't want to do it. Of course, I'm like, who wants to give up basically 20 million?
You wrote 18,180,000,000.00. Like, bro, that's crazy.
You know, I got huge deals on the table, so I'm always making shit shake.
What's the biggest thing you got working right now?
I can show y'all this. Come here. So come here. So,
dude, what is it?
Look at this long. Okay. So right here.
That's crazy.
I just keep stuff on the low.
Yeah, my math don't work like that. My math.
So now, when we gonna cut it and get straight to it?
we definitely can't get to that. We gotta get that out of there.
That's a lot of coming.
Via ESPN, this is not, random Twitter person reporting this. I think Mike Coppinger also reported the same thing. If this is to be believed, Floyd took a cash advance and then undermined the promotion of his own fight to try to protect his 50-0 record and still make a bag. Floyd has done this for years. He has done this for years, especially after his pro career. When he was doing these exhibitions, he would not show up to things he was obligated to do, take advances. Even the Deji fight, you can ask Deji, I was there. Floyd demanded that they pay him some insane amount of money or he wasn't going to fight Deji while he was at the venue. And they wanted to change gloves and do all this stuff. And I think they actually did it. They paid Floyd to do it. And I've seen this with a bunch of his exhibitions. And obviously we know about the Logan Paul situation, how Floyd shopped his fight to a different company after essentially scamming royalty like Prince.
Mike Coppinger brought attention to the situation on Twitter, calling out Floyd Mayweather for contradicting Netflix's official announcement. He pointed out that treating the bout as an exhibition goes against the agreement and could put Mayweather in breach of contract. Coppinger said Mayweather's comments also directly contradicted Netflix's official announcement, and he would be in breach of contract if he insists on shifting it to an exhibition. Teddy Atlas also views the situation as disappointing, suggesting that without the right guidance, even great athletes can lose control of their finances. He believes that's what may have happened in Floyd Mayweather's case.
A lot, where, fighters, they risk everything. They risk so much, and then everything they took the risk for sometimes is lost. Whether it was Joe Louis, whoever, it never becomes not sad or unfortunate to hear. Never. It's a Yeah, and look, you could say it's their responsibility. It is. It is. You got to know what's going on. But there are also sharks in this business, in any business. And sometimes these athletes, I wouldn't even specify fighters. We're talking about fighters. But you hear it in football, Bud. You were around it. You hear it in basketball. Sometimes these athletes, they don't have the right people around them to look out for them. You know, to properly educate them, to properly advise them. Hey, some don't listen.
However, Paulie Malignaggi sees Floyd Mayweather's controversial remarks as a clever way to hype the fight. By sparking debate over whether it's an exhibition or a real bout, Floyd keeps the public talking, driving curiosity and attention. Paulie suggests this strategy could boost pay-per-view sales, turning controversy into a marketing tool that fuels interest and maximizes viewership.
The whole thing.
He knew what he was doing.
He definitely did. Look, it would have been an interesting fight had he fought Pacquiao when he was younger, in his prime. It would have been a very different
Would have been
fight.
a more interesting fight.
Much more different.
Because
Much more difficult
any go-forward physical warrior like Pacquiao is going to wear down.
Right, exactly.
And any brilliant counterpuncher like Floyd is going to retain more.
Yeah.
So he did.
Yeah, it would have been much more interesting when they were younger. Also, the fact that Pacquiao fought him with a bum shoulder. That was a disaster, too.
Money talks.
Yeah. I mean, look, I guess he was faced with this thing, legacy, or, I mean, it was the biggest pay-per-view of all time in boxing, correct?
I believe so.
I believe so. And I think it was like 4 million buys or something crazy like that.
It was huge.
So, like, what is
that? It was
that?
massive.
Selling point. I think ultimately Mayweather has to agree to whatever the contract is. If it's a fight, I think one of the comments the other day really made a point that, you know, one of the comments in our chat made a point that, you know, has really stuck with me. Mayweather has to know the terms he agreed to. Come on, I mean, you can't just sign something and not know those terms. You gotta know that if it is, in fact, it has to be a fight, then he would do this. And he knows he's got to go through with a fight. He may just be saying this just to sell the fight in general. You know, just to sell it as, you know, make it a talking point, make it a controversial point, so that people want to wind up, you know, talking about it more. It becomes a topic of discussion, and then from that perspective, people, you know, more people end up watching it because it becomes more of a polarizing topic of conversation. So I don't know. I see this eventually getting straightened out. I think it has to. I mean, Floyd has to fight right now. I think Mayweather probably wants to fight right now. I mean, Mayweather wants to fight and probably has to fight right now, and Pacquiao seems to want to and have to as well. So
Meanwhile, Chael Sonnen tackles the rumors about Floyd Mayweather's finances head-on. He says it's normal for athletes to need money, but Floyd's struggles are genuine. Coming up in boxing, he never learned about contracts, savings, or investments, and his gambling habits have added to the problem. Sonnen notes many fighters face similar issues, making the speculation about Floyd's wealth overblown.
Mayweather broke. This is the headline and all you guys are talking about it. Yeah. Aren't you? Why do you get up every day and go to work? Why are you going to your job next week? Why will you be at your job the week after that? Because you need the money. What's wrong with that? And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. I don't tease him for it. He was a guy who grew up in a boxing channel, right? It's one of these things. You know what you know. You know what you were taught. I didn't teach him about contracts. I didn't teach him about saving. I didn't teach him about investments. Who would have taught him these things? Of course he's broke. He's a gambling addict. He got baby mamas all over the... What do you mean is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question.
Jason Whitlock also highlights rumors surrounding Floyd Mayweather's finances, including alleged bankruptcy and asset sales, which some link to his Mike Tyson bout. He notes that Floyd spent extravagantly in Las Vegas, chasing a flashy lifestyle and public image over financial security. Whitlock frames this as a cautionary tale of living for the culture, where prioritizing image over smart money management can have lasting consequences. At 49, Mayweather's return to the ring underscores how even legendary success can't offset years of overspending.
On social media, there are rumors and stories coming out about Floyd Mayweather, him auctioning off property, him being in bankruptcy, him being out of money, and that's why he's going to fight Mike Tyson. Saw this incredible tweet where a guy listed all the things Floyd Mayweather wasted money on while living in Las Vegas and just living for the culture. That's what Floyd Mayweather is an example of. The stupidity of living for the culture and trying to be relatable and trying to be this incredible icon or example of, look how much money I've made. He's blown it all, and now at 49 years old, he's got to go back into the boxing ring and continue to fight.
I wanted to get into what it is that has happened to both boxing and Floyd Mayweather, because I'm assuming that most people who are watching Floyd Mayweather, one of the few names in boxing that still somehow matters because there are very few of them, comes out of retirement at 49 years old. We're assuming, right? Everyone's assuming he needs money, right? Nobody goes back into the game of possibly being hit and embarrassed in front of people simply because they love boxing a great deal at the age of 49.
He's probably incredibly confused why someone keeps selling his mortgages. He probably has a dozen homes and 3 dozen different people holding his mortgages lately. That's why he's fighting.